Let's review word problems. So when we did word problems, the first thing that we did was we defined our let statements, such as let x equal, let y equals, and we defined them. Then we read the equations, we set them up, or we read the statement, we set up our equations, and we solved. So the first type of word problem that we saw in this unit was we were trying to find two numbers. So our sentence reads, the larger of two numbers is 4 more than the smaller number. So we can see that we are talking about a larger number and a smaller number. So we're going to set up our let statements. I'm going to let x represent my larger number, and I'm going to let y represent my smaller number. So now we can read this and we can do some substitution. X, the larger, so X is, so I'm going to highlight these important words. Anytime I see larger, I know that that means X. Is always a really important word in there. So I'm going to set up my first equation. It says X is means equals. Then it says 4 more. 4 more means plus 4. 4 more than the smaller number. Smaller is y. So if I read that sentence again, it says x equals plus 4 y, or y plus 4 is really what that second sentence means. So I have y plus 4. My second sentence, so new equation, we end one sentence, we see that period, that means we move on to the next equation. It says the sum means we're going to add. The sum of the numbers, that means we're adding the two together. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to write sum x plus y is 74. Again, is means equals. So what we did in class is we said, hey, we defined what x equaled. X equaled all of this stuff. So if this is everything that x equals, anywhere that I see x, I'm going to do some substitution. I'm going to plug it in there. So anywhere where I saw x, I substituted that first top part, which was y plus 4. So I did substitution right here. I bring down the plus y because that still exists, equals 74. Now I can solve this equation. I would combine like terms. I would subtract 4, so I'm going to go over here where I have a little bit more room, so I'm going to rewrite this. 2y plus 4 equals 74. I would subtract 4 on both sides, so I would get 2y equals 70. Divide both sides by 2, and I would get y equals 35. Once I know that y is 35, I can then substitute it back into that first equation because that first equation said, hey, x is equal to whatever y is plus 4. Well, if y is 35 and I substitute that in there, 35 plus 4 would then tell me that x is equal to 39. So my numbers are 35 and 39. Another type of problem that we saw is when we were looking at the perimeter of a rectangle. So the perimeter of a rectangle, we need to know this equation. It says perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And you have to use that equation in order to solve this. So here's my first problem. The length of a rectangle is 3 centimeters less than twice its width. So in my let statements, I'm going to let width, W equal width, and I'm going to let L be my length. And here my sentence says, if the length L is equals 3 centimeters less than, that's one of those backwards one where we're actually subtracting 3, then twice its width. 3 centimeters less, that means we're subtracting 3 from twice its width. That means 2w. We see the period, that means we go on to the next equation. It says if the perimeter, so we use this perimeter equation, so perimeter, I'm substituting in there. It was 2L plus 2W, that's my perimeter, is 18. So I'm setting this equal to 18. Find the dimensions. And so I need to use that perimeter formula from above. So similarly to the word problem above this, I defined L is equal to that stuff. So wherever I see L, I can do some substitution. I can insert that in there. So this then becomes 2 times L. Well, L was defined as 2W minus 3. I'm bringing down that plus 2W from the problem, and it equals 18. I would distribute this 2 in, so do this multiplication. So I have 4W minus 6 plus 2W equals 18. Again, I'm going to move over here so I have some more room. I'm combining like terms. 2W plus 4W is 6W minus 6 equals 18. I'm going to add 6 to both sides. I have 6W equals 24. Divide both sides by 6 to solve, and I get W equals 4. Well, we need to then find what my length is, and remember, we have this defined up here. It says length is equal to, so length is equal to 2 times W. Well, W is 4 minus 3. 2 times 4 is 8. Minus 3, that puts my length at 5. So my dimensions are a width of 4 and a length of 5. You must, it is critical that you pay attention to this formula anytime you're doing a perimeter of a rectangle. So then our last type of word problems that we saw were when we use consecutive numbers. So if I just use the phrase the numbers are consecutive, the first number would be x, the second number would be x plus 1, the third number would be x plus 2. And you can see even would be x, x plus 2, x plus 4, and same thing with odd. So this one, it uses the equation. The problem says the sum means we're adding together, of 3. So I'm going to use all three of those numbers that I have listed up there. Now I do want you guys to also note that this pattern would continue if you needed more than 3. We are not doing anything more than 3, but that pattern would continue. It says 3 consecutive numbers, so I know that I'm going to have x, x plus 1, and x plus 2. Those are going to be my 3 numbers. So this is my first number, this is my second number, and this is my third number. It says the sum, so let's go ahead and add those together. Is, there's that word is means equals 33 more. That means I'm going to add 33 onto the other side. So 33 more than the smallest of the numbers. Well, x is going to be my smallest, where x plus 2, that would be my biggest. So I'm going to say it's 33 more than the smallest of those numbers. That smallest is x. So it says find the numbers. So now we've got this equation, just like we've done when we solve. We're going to combine like terms. So this would give me 3x plus 3 equals x plus 33. I'm subtracting x on both sides. This would be 2x plus 3 equals 33. I am subtracting 3. I have 2x equals 30. Divide both sides by 2. And I get x equals 15. So now when I find out what my answer is, because that's not my answer, I want all 3 of the numbers, I'm substituting 33 in there, or 15 in there, 15 in here, and 15 in there. So my numbers, my answers would be 15, 16, and 17.